Hey guys, welcome to IST Game Dev Session 4. Here we are gonna learn about animating our player. So what I did was I went to Sunnyland. This is a downloadable asset from the asset store. I'll send you the links to all the assets I've used here. So I went to art artwork and sprites and player, and I went to idle. I took the first sprite of idle animation and put it in our hierarchy, and I renamed it as player. So now this will act as our player default player. And I added one rigid body component and box collider and circle collider. The reason I added two colliders was like we have an animation called crouch animation where it's gonna crawl. So for that, what I did was I disabled 2D box collider 2D. And like whenever there's a collision, always there should be at least one component which has rigid body. So let's make a level first. We'll go to environment, and we can directly put tiles like this. Now this is not very optimum because we have to keep adding tiles one by one, and we have to put colliders on these also. So I'll go ahead and delete this, and I'll create a tile map. So tile map creates a grid which contains a tile map, and we'll be painting tiles on the tile map so that the tiles line up in the cells of the tile map. So we'll create a new tile palette. We'll name it ground. We'll make a new folder to be organized. So now we'll put all these. So now it's gonna create a tile palette for us. So now you'll see our tile palette is done. I'll select a tile and we'll paint a level. For now I'll just for now this seems enough for me. I'll close the tile palette. I'll check whether the script of player control works. Okay, so now what happened was I hadn't added any collider for this, so our player just tunneled through. So we'll add a tile map collider. Now this is a new kind of collider which is which search tile and you'll get a tile map collider 2D. And now, like, this collider makes a box collider on each of the tiles of your tile map, so you will get a detailed collider. So now it works fine. Okay, so I'll the script works fine, so let's do our animation. So now you can see there's this thing called animation window. If you don't have it, you can go ahead and open it by going to window. Under that, go for animation and click on animation. You also have the hotkey. Now I've made an animation window, so now I'll go and create an animation. I'll create a new folder for this also. I'll name it player animation. Now I'll name the animation as player idle. So now you can see a timeline is created. I'll go to our player idle folder, select all, drag it and drop it here. Now I'll play the animation. You can see it plays very fast. So I'll slow it down a bit. This looks fine, so I'll keep this and I'll create run, jump and all the other animations. One thing good about this as a particular asset is you get all the different sprites pre-made. This seems fine, so I'll keep it. Now we'll make a jump animation. Okay, so what happens is you can see only the first keyframe is playing all the time, and when by the time the second keyframe comes, the animation goes back to the start. So I'll fix it by putting another of the second keyframe, so you can see that the animation kind of works fine. Now I'll make crouch. Again, like, due to the previous animation, we got to know that it will be the same for crouch also. So this looks fine, so it's fine. So now let's go to our player animations folder. Now you can see there are 4 animations which we made. Now you can see another icon. This is called player. Now this is called an animation controller. I'll go ahead and open this. Now see, you can see it's called it's an animation controller or animator. This uh, this what this does is this transitions between different animations, and you can set conditions on do whatever you want for how to play. You can set conditions on when to play which animation, which is what we'll be doing now. Entry is like when your game starts running. So we've went from entry to player idle, and this is highlighted in orange because this is your default animation. And you have another thing called any state, which is basically any state. So we'll make from any state to player run. Now this is called a transition. You can see the different settings of your transition here. We'll remove transition duration to 0, and it doesn't have exit time. Exit time is like when, suppose one animation is playing right now and you have made a transition to another animation, and now the condition is satisfied, so the transition should occur now. But if the transition has exit time, that means the controller is going to wait till the first animation is over, then it starts playing the second animation, which we don't want here. So we'll remove exit time, and we'll put the transition duration to be 0. And now you don't want to just go from any state to run. So what we'll do is we'll make conditions, and we make conditions by parameters. So we'll go and add a parameter called speed. Now the initial value, now speed is of float data type and its value is 0. Now we'll make a condition that speed is greater than 0.1. We'll make another transition to jump and to crouch, and we'll make two bool parameters called jump and crouch. So again we'll set our transition duration to 0. We'll remove fixed time, and we'll put jump is true for player jump transition, and crouch is true for player crouch transition. So now every transition will we'll have to make another, for every animation we have to make a transition for player idle back again. So we'll go ahead and do that. From player run to idle, we'll make a transition. We'll set our necessary parameters. And we'll also make, see, in this case we are making two conditions. Now if the character is in player jump animation and it has to go to player idle animation, then both the conditions have to be satisfied. And I'm not going to put another condition for player crouch, because like when the player is jumping, he of course cannot crouch. to make transitions from jump to run and from crouch to run. Now from crouch to run we set speed to be greater than 0.1 and crouch is false. Here also we'll put speed to be greater than 0.1 and jump to false. So now you can see our animation controller is set up properly. So let's go to our scene. We'll go to player. We'll just put the player animator in the scripts and let's test it out. See, the animation works. All the animation works. So this is called sprite animation. There's another kind of animation called skeletal animation, for which I'll be doing it in another project. So I'll close this project for now. I'll not save it. Hey guys, here I'll show you a new kind of animation in sprite animation itself. It's called sprite sheet animation. I'll go ahead and delete these. Now you can see this is called a sprite sheet. You can see, like, when you move from one sprite to the next, you can see it's animated. So what I'll do, I'll go for sprite editor, and for this you need to select multiple in sprite mode first. So you can see it split our sprites. So I'll just go and save and slice, and I'll apply. Now you'll see the sprite has been sprite sheet, which was originally like this, has been sliced into individual sprites. I'll select them and animate them. I'll put player blink. Now I'll go here and I'll hit play. Now you can see the animation plays. This is another kind of animation, like, called sprite sheet animation, and you can always use this also in your animator and use it in your game. So I'll close this project and I'll open another project for teaching you skeletal animation. Hey guys, now we'll do skeletal animation. For this I have imported the orc warrior asset from the asset store. I'll give you the link afterwards. I'll go to art and you can see there are 3 orc sprites. Now this, you can see, is the assembled form of this. Okay, I'll delete this and I'll delete this also. We'll animate this orc. So that for that we first we have to check our package manager whether it has 2D IK, 2D PSD importer and 2D sprite. If it is not there, you can go to all packages and you will find 2D PSD importer and 2D IK. In case you can't see 2D IK, then go to advanced and click on show preview packages. Since I've already have all the packages in my project, I'll close this. Now I'll put this in the hierarchy. I'll go for sprite editor. Oh, and by the way, in this sprite editor you should choose sprite mode to be single. And I'll go for skinning editor. In skinning editor you can see there are bones, geometry and weights. I'll go for creating bones. I'll click here and create bones. Now if you want to make a free bone, click on this box and then go here. And if you want to stop creating, you can see when I click here, it will automatically start creating the next bone. If you want to stop that, right click, and since I want this to be a child of this, so I'll click this and then click this. I'll go ahead and rig everything. See, so now the rigging is complete. If you want to split some bones here, you can go ahead and click split bones and make new bones. I don't want to make that, so I'll just undo it, and I'll go for auto geometry and generate for selected. Now you see it made a mesh. This if you are okay with the detail of the mesh, it's fine. If you are not, you can go ahead and create vertices and edges and all that stuff. I'll go and create some extra vertices here where I feel the mesh is lacking. Okay, now I'll edit the geometry. You can scroll up and scroll down to zoom in and zoom out. Okay, so I'm satisfied with the detail of the mesh here. So I'll go ahead and create auto weights and I'll generate. Now you can see it made weights for the bones. Weights is like what part of the bone controls how much of your sprite. If you're not happy with the weights it generated, you can go for a weight brush and add hardness and steep and everything. You can click on the bone which you want to increase the weight of and you can increase it. Suppose I made the whole of this arm weighted to this bone itself, so the whole arm moves when this bone moves, and this basically has very less weight. I'll increase the weight of this also and to make it uniform. So I'm fine with these weights and I'll apply and I'll close this. So our rigging is done now. So I'll add component and I'll search for sprite skin and I'll click on create bones, and you can see it created bones as per what we did over there. Now I'll assemble the sprite. Now you can see this the layers aren't properly done, so I'll make the proper layers. This one should be on top, so I'll put 3. For this I'll put 1 and 2 for this, 1 for this, and 1 for this. I'll apply and close. So now the his clothes came on top of his body now. Let's make his arm. Okay, so this is moving, so I might have messed up the weights. And I'll make the geometry a bit better. Yeah, I'll apply. And now nothing happens. There you see our ogre is assembled now. So now we've rigged and assembled our ogre, but you can see whenever I move the bone, like only this is moved. So what do I do is I'll remember I had imported something called 2D IK. The 2D IK stands for inverse kinematics. It basically moves the whole chain of bones rather than just one bone whenever you're moving an object. I'll show you that in a moment. I'll click on IK Manager 2D and I'll add a solver. Now there are three kinds of solvers: chain, limb and another chain. I'll go with the first chain, and like a chain can have multiple bones in one chain. If you have a limb, you can only have two bones. Now this is our bone 10. Now for our solver we need something called an effector and a target. I'll put an empty game object as our target here. I'll move it to the end of the bone, and in our effector I'll put this, and I'll increase the chain length. Now you can see this becoming yellow, that means it's selected. I selected this arm and I put create target. Now this whole arm is animated, so whenever I move the bone, whenever I move the effector, the whole arm moves accordingly. I'll do the same for this also. I will made an empty game object at the end of his axe. For convenience, I'll rename it as right and left. Now I'll make another solver. Again I'll go for chain. Now I will choose right and put as the effector. I'll increase the chain length to the whole arm, and I'll create target. So now you can see our arms are animated. Now I'll animate this ogre for an attack, but that is basically a swing of an axe. I'll go to animations, animation. I'll animate the ogre too. I'll hit create. Now under our animations, I'll animate it as axe swing. Now I'll record it. Now this will be our first frame. This is how you use a timeline in animation. Now in our second frame, I'll move it this much because we will make a smooth animation. So now we'll just make him hit the opponent, and we'll make the axe go back to his place. Now let's play. See, now this is how do you make an animation in skeletal animation. And again, like how I taught you in sprite animation, just go to your animation controller, set your parameters and transitions, and you can, that's how you make animations in Unity 2D. That's it. See ya.